to do a little bit of an update. We're up in Vermont still, but I have all the materials ready that I've been ordering ever since we got back from the last trip. And I wanted to do an update with you now, and because I'm going to be using these things when we get down to the Cape, which is coming up this weekend. So first of all, one of the things I did was to order a sheet of mahogany. It's only a quarter sheet, so in other words, it's 2 feet by 4 feet, which is more than adequate for doing everything that I'm going to be doing for this winter refit. And this is a second winter refit. The first one I did several years ago when I took all of the teak contact paper covered 1/4 inch regular plywood out of the boat and replaced it with mahogany. That was the first one. This time it's going to be taking my sailboat and converting it basically from well, let's put it this way: a one-man cruising daysailer. That's a good way to put it. A one-man cruising daysailer. It's a great daysailer. It's got a huge cockpit just for taking tons of people out in if you need to. But that cabin, the moment I got up on it for the very first time, before I even paid my $1 and bought the boat, I looked down in that cabin. I said, "It's so tiny. It's so tiny." So what I did, I went ahead and began to make changes in it to make it a really nice small cabin sailboat. But as I mentioned in my last video, I'm not going to force my brother or anybody else to go overnight with me on that boat. My brother refers to that quarter berth on to starboard as the Chinese torture coffin. It is, yeah, it's not a boat that you want to overnight with 2 people. That's all there is to it. When I'm in there, I'm completely at home, using the V-berth, using the rest of the facilities as needed, but I'm not going to be doing any more people overnighting on that boat. So as a result of that, I'm beginning to make some changes. I thought I would never do this. But one of the reasons I'm making these changes is practicality, but it's also a matter of me just getting bold enough to make changes, because as far as I'm an originalist. I like to keep things original. Hey, you know what? Sailboats change all the time, and so I'm going to be making a couple of changes. I've already made some changes to the wiring. Going to be making more changes to the wiring, but I'll also making some changes on the layout. And so that's what we're going to talk about right now. So let me shut this off, and I'm going to turn this around and show you what we're going to be doing. Okay, so let's first of all talk about the wiring. I was trying to figure out how to do voiceover on my videos, and I haven't figured it out yet. So I'm just going to do this, and there will be a picture right after this showing the electric panel as it is now, as I modified it originally. The electric panel as it is now has like a little panel on the right-hand side that's voltage, so that you know what your voltage of your battery is, and it has a couple of accessories. But it also has on the left-hand side of the panel, it has a switch, an override switch for the bilge pump. Okay, well, I bought this. This is going to be replacing the bilge pump override switch, because it's going to be 3 switches instead of 1. And let me just show you what we got here. This is very definitely worth the effort. Okay, so here we go. So once this gets mounted up there, besides the accessory and battery level switch, battery level monitor, we're going to go. This is going to be let's see, bilge pump, aft cabin, forward cabin. Okay, that's the way it's going to be. And so I'm going to be, in other words, this is going to be, actually, this would be V-berth, galley, and what's the other one? Oh, and bilge pump. Okay, so that's the override switch for the bilge pump. So anyway, that's what's going to be going into the panel. That, by the way, that is the only piece of solid mahogany panel I've got in the boat, and it's a beautiful piece of solid mahogany I got when I was working at York River Yacht Haven. Somebody threw it out. I said, "That's mine." So anyway, this is all set up in the back, and it's got It's got your 2 lead-in wires for ground and hot for 12 volts, and then the rest of these are set up so that these are your voltage out to each one of the things you're going to be controlling, and everything has common ground. Anyway, that's first, and that's going to be in the left-hand side of the electric panel that you're going to be seeing right after I get done talking on this video. Okay, we're going to shut this off, and we're going to go over and cover the next part of our little winter, what do we call it? Winter refit, whatever project, and let me go do that. Oh, one more thing about the set of switches I got for the electric panel. They come with stickers to go on each of the switches. Look at this. Okay, we got, where is it? Right here, Randy. Okay, cabin, here we go. Cabin lights and forward cabin lights. That's exactly right. Cabin lights would be back in the galley. Forward cabin lights would be the V-berth. And so those are the stickers I'm going to use there. And then just one notch over, there's the bilge pump. So anyway, I'll just go ahead and designate. These are pretty good stickers, and they go on each one of the switches, and we're good to go. Okay, as you're going down the companionway into the cabin, on the left-hand side, there is a shelf place where you can put your cook stove, and with just open space underneath. Apparently, when the boat was built, not back in 1970, it had a refrigerator in there that was long since been taken out, and it's just open space in there, which I like. I mean, it's space, very usable space for storing stuff. But then to accommodate more shelf space to be able to cook, prepare, that kind of stuff. Now, starboard is the sink. And I've got, like I said, a brand new tap that I put in there, brand new faucet last year. But to port, you've got the shelf area with where you can set up your cook stove. But then I also wanted to go ahead and expand. Instead of using the port quarter berth at all, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just just make a shelf going directly from there, running aft. And you're going to be seeing this in the diagram I'm going to show you right now. Okay. In the first place, down on the Cape, when I was doing the last video, I promised I would be doing this up here in Vermont, kind of as a preview of what's coming up. Okay, so here's a diagram. This is not to scale. It's just, I just threw this together last night. Okay, so up here you have your chain locker, your V-berth. Then as you come aft, you got your the area I was just speaking to, with the stove and the cabinet underneath. To starboard, you've got your sink area, and that, by the sink area, is actually smaller than this compared to the stove area. And that, which makes it easier, by the way, in accessing, being able to get into the starboard quarter berth, because it is less. This is not as doesn't extend as far back as this does. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is what I'm going to be doing to make the change. Okay, as of right now, the port quarter berth is very tight getting in and out of. I've done it, but because the stove area cupboard or countertop extends probably an inch or two, maybe even 3 further back than your sink area, it makes getting in and out of the port quarter berth very difficult. Okay, you remember several years ago I did brand new port and starboard quarter berth cushions. I've still got them. They're still in great shape. As a matter of fact, I repaired my port one recently. But what's going to happen is that I've got. Okay, just want to make sure we're still running. Okay, what's going to happen is, instead of this being an opening to get in and out of the quarter berth, I'm going to run a shelf. There's an edge that runs all the way around this area here. I'm going to run a shelf directly under that edging and directly aft. And so that this is actually going to be counter space all the way from here to where the companionway is, where you step down. and it's going to make this more wide open. And I'm going to have storage underneath, on top, probably blankets, pillows, that kind of stuff underneath, on top of the existing quarter berth mattress. What do you want to call it? Quarter berth cushion that I made. And, like I said, and all of this is going to be retractable. In other words, if I want to take it out, I can take it out. Because I'm going to have 2 screws going from the inside of the cabinet that's underneath here. 2 screws going that's going to support this leading edge. And then underneath where the cockpit comes down, I'm going to have a board that goes across that is going to I'm going to be able to lock the aft edge of that into. So this is going to be all counter space. Anyway, that's my idea, and I'm really looking forward to it. So with that, let me show you what we've got to be working with this next project. Well, in the first place, I've had fairly good luck with ordering some quarter sheets of mahogany from Home Depot or through Home Depot. This time, they outdid themselves. I mean, this is a nice piece. It's not perfect. It's not as good as the quality of the one that I bought from Baker Lumber up here. That was really, really top grade book matched mahogany. But look at this. Look at this. That's book matched. Book matched mahogany. I don't know if you can see it. And by the way, it's not going to show up as strongly here as it will once it's been varnished. Okay, but that's some pretty stuff. I mean, I'm just, let me get back so you can see. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty unique that you order a $20 piece, a $20 quarter sheet of mahogany, and this is what you get. I'm not complaining. That's pretty good. And I'll be having a picture on here of the cabinet door that I did, which, by the way, is all part of that $90 sheet of mahogany that I bought through Baker Lumber. Hey, and it also is book matched flame mahogany. And so this is going to be really nice. And to go with this, obviously, this is just 1/4 inch. But as I've done with all the rest of my stuff, I laminate. And this is what I'll use for laminating right here. Titebond premium glue. Titebond 2, Titebond 3 is even more waterproof. I don't need waterproof because it's in the cabin. But this stuff is water resistant, and it holds, well, it's stronger than the wood itself. So what I did, because this is only 1/4 inch, okay, what I did was to buy a sheet of 1/2 inch, half inch, and this also is a 1/4 sheet of 1/2 inch plywood. This stuff, I couldn't believe it. I walked up to look at the sheets. They had them stacked there. Right on top was this one completely flat sheet. The rest of them are curled, badly curled. This one was perfect. And so I said, that one's mine. And so I went ahead and bought this, and I'll be able to laminate my new mahogany right to this, and I'll have 3/4 of an inch of good solid strength for the shelf, for any cabinetry work that I do below it. So anyway, that's the project, and that's kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to be doing, and it's probably going to end up being more than one trip to the Cape. In the first place, just getting in, let's turn this around. I'm going to talk about the first project that we're going to be doing right now. So let me turn this around. I've got to hand it to whoever's doing the work for Home Depot to pay $20 and have a custom cut 2-foot by 4-foot sheet of book matched mahogany is really quite remarkable. And I'll tell you, this is going to be nice. I think instead of using this flame up here, which is broadly spaced, I'm going to go ahead and use that one down there. That's kind of interesting. Anyway, yeah, I'm just tickled about this. I mean, it's not very often that that happens. The sheet of mahogany that I got over at Baker Lumber, which is, they specialize in really good hardwoods and so forth. I had to save up for it. I didn't have the money for it immediately. back when I did the initial refit on the boat. And I don't remember how much I paid. It was at least $100 for that sheet of mahogany. I paid $20 for this. This is a quarter sheet, granted, but still, that's going to be some really pretty stuff when it's stained and varnished and becomes a countertop and whatever dress work I do in cabinetry below that. So, all right, yeah. Anyway, thank you, Home Depot. And like I said, whoever cut this did a remarkable job. All right, the first project we're going to be doing is going to be the electrical. Okay, I want to get that out of the way with because it's going to be very difficult to work on that. Take that panel down, do all of the cutting. I'm going to have to cut a brand new opening in that solid mahogany panel. It's going to be very difficult to do any of that once we get the new shelf in. I'm calling it a shelf, but you get the idea. It's counter space, actually. And so in order to put this in, I'm going to really need to just go ahead and concentrate for now on wiring, taking the panel down, retrofitting it, cutting the new opening in it, which is going to be 3 inches by 1 3/4 inches. That's the opening for that, okay, in the back. And getting all the wiring done. So that's going to be this first trip down. We're not going to be able to get to the lamination and getting new cabinetry, new counter space done until after that project is done. So this next trip down, when I go to the Cape this coming Sunday afternoon, we're going to be Monday and Tuesday. It's going to be all about getting this stuff done. Taking the panel out of there, de-wiring, which I do not want to do, but I mean, I so carefully set all that up to where I can monitor what the voltage is on the battery. You got that override switch that goes to the bilge pump. Well, that's going to have to all be checked out and rewired into this. I'm going to be pulling the wiring off from the existing switch to the V-berth lights. And pulling it up and putting it up onto this switch, which will be right here. Right here, this is going to be the forward switch. That's going to be for the V-berth. The middle one is going to be for the galley, and then your aft one is going to be for the bilge pump. So, anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. And with that, that's a wrap. I wanted to bring you up to date before we ever get to the Cape. And this is the video I promised when we were on the Cape, that I would put all the pieces together, think it through, and try to give you an update on where little girl is going to be going with all the new projects for this winter. All right, thanks. And thank you for stopping by Restoring Little Girl. It's a never-ending project.